G'day everyone, welcome along to another Family Brick stream. I'm Adele, going well on this evening. The joys of doing things live. Welcome along, we're going to be building some more of the Black Panther. This will be the second stream on this. Hope that everyone is going well. For anyone just stumbling across the channel, every Thursday night around this time, I like to just do some creative stuff. In this case, some Lego, other times I might be drawing or doing some mocks or anything like that. So just so we get set up here, and where are we? Just sort of show where we go last time. So I can just make this a little bit bigger, and then such. It's always a little bit of a delay, so try to get the camera angle there. So we did the first 6 bags of the Black Panther Bust. I might just try to lie that down a little bit like that so you get a bit of a sense. So sort of done the main bulk of the stand and the shoulders, come up to the neck, and then a weird little gremlin look at the head, which I'm sure we'll get through and do all the rest. Just think while we're getting set up here, I might just do a quick little sound check. It seems to be all right. And then just the one other little thing we need to do is pay the bills as such. Let's give the sponsor a little bit of a plug. So a quick video with that here, and then we can get into some actual building.
This video is brought to you by McCatsim Holiday Homes in Margate and Broadstairs. Great for a week's holiday or a weekend escape, being just over an hour east of London, UK. Treat yourself to amazing sunsets, a Lego wall, or great food. Visit www.mccatsim.com and mention this YouTube video and we'll look after you.
And I guess the only other little thing we might just put on a little bit of background music, just fill out that void of nothingness. We're going to try this week, man. Try this one. So that's working good there. And away we go. I figure out where putting on the bag set up. And when we finished up last week, there was 1 or 2 pieces which we never did find. So that's a little bit of a scoot downstairs and getting some pieces out of the personal collection. So it should all be good. Keep on going. Travelers, welcome along. Good evening. Hope you and the rest of the family are well. I'm currently building another avatar set. Oh, nice. Floating mountain site. Already I finished the Tree of Souls video to drop my channel tomorrow. Oh, cool. We'll have to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's these days, but YouTube's and anything like the Tree of Souls. I mean, we've got that one there as well. And then have done the floating mountain site, so be curious. We'll come back to that. Brixine, hey, Richard. Hope that you're good. Good to see you along. Hope that you're surviving summer sort of down underish. Yeah, how are you going these days? So I haven't seen you around for a little bit. I know. So now, I guess, February, so the kids are well and truly back at school and everything like that. You're sounding in and out glitchy, but not sure it's end. Okay, yeah, could be this is problem quality dropping. Otherwise, I might just be here talking to myself in the weirdness. Maybe set this camera just so a bit more interesting. I think that slightly better angle. Certainly, that was a funny stream. It's funny end to last week's stream. I think a couple of people we'd managed to convince into getting the foosball table. So that was pretty funny. I think, as I sort of mentioned before, we'll do a foosball stream probably in 2 weeks' time. So I think we'll get probably 2/3 of the way through this one tonight, and then if we finish it off next week, and then the week after that, we'll do the foosball. So then it also gives people time to get it from wherever it comes from. Yeah, first in the realm of Lego. Okay, unfortunately, house got flooded. Oh no, it left us in a bit of a pickle. It's what hopefully we'll get back in sometime soon. Oh, I feel for you, Rich. I hope first of all, family and everything was all okay. And, yeah, when we were younger in Australia, the place that we lived in flooded all the time. And then at the beginning of last year, it was the worst flood that they've ever had, and it basically wiped out the entire town. Everything went under, but they just sent bulldozers in, bulldozed all the houses. It was like thousands of houses in the end. And yeah, no, such a horrible situation. So hope that you are able to get in, get power back, connected, all those for granted. Yeah, it's that stuff. So yeah, you're able to get in, get it dried out, haven't damaged too much. You still have your so you were thinking, I think at one stage you're putting your sauna on the deck or something, or something. So and a solid brick builder. Hey. Hope that you are going well. What are people up to this evening? Apart from coming along and listening to some randomness. Solo was funny. I was thinking earlier in the week, I think somebody else said it on one of the other streams of COVID. We were talking about lights and putting lights into sets and things like that, and how expensive it was. And you were was it now 3 years later? Because everyone still remembers it. It's like, when are to get people are in way worse situations than. It's that sort of thing. Until you go through floods, you don't really quite understand it. Like, okay, yeah. So quick, be so devastating. sometimes just under a particular beat. Just having a look there. Yeah, the audio is a bit funny, unfortunately. Wonder, do I have anything else weird? Just trying to check. I had to restart earlier. I do wonder if one of the other kids is trying to stream something at the same time, which might not just. It's like, it's late, go to bed, get off the internet. Old man elder needs it. Maybe I might also just try a slightly different track and see if that makes any difference. Maybe even just adjust the volume a little bit. See how that gets on there. I think face cam is affected too. Wonder if it's agree if it, yeah, it probably could be. Yeah, I'm hearing some weird stuff in the audio. Stop that for a sec. I think maybe just leave it there for a little bit and sort of see. Not the ideal. Ages ago I took off, had some music on this, which might stop the bandwidth. I'm not sure whether that got deleted a while ago. Joys of live streaming. Yeah, no, I can hear that audio is horrendous. What can I do? Maybe if I just try solely with the build cam, see if this works. Is that a bit better? The sound does sound a little bit better. Hopefully not dropping out too much. Definitely related to face cam. Static has disappeared. Yeah, I think it's because I'm trying to obviously run two off the same thing. So I think it gets feedback or something like that. Either that or you've all just been there ganging up sort of in the background. Yeah, just tell them it's the face cam. We'll get rid of the face cam. That'll make it better. Yeah, yeah. Let's see then if we put it in. Try this. Just take that down a bit. Yeah, I'm not convinced that's a good track. I might try another one. Okay, hopefully that's just a little bit. A lot better. Never seen where both mics running on each camera at the same time. Yeah, that could be it. Because one of the mics is built in. I mean, I've tried to mute it in the other one, but I don't know. I'm still. It feels like I didn't stream for a while and then started coming back and doing it, and then feel like a newbie again. So it's something I'm gonna have to really have a good look at because that's been a couple of weeks now. It's always been a bit of a problem. So, and then yeah, solo from before. I got here 2-3 years. I'm still working on it. It's either that or 23 years, which that could quite possibly it as well. The greatest video never made. Or maybe it's you done a fundraiser or something. You pay Solo to make the video on how to make really cheap lights. If you're using the same computer but different browsers to get two cameras, you normally have to mute the browser tab. Oh, okay, so it's a browser tab. That could be. How can I mute that? What's that one? Mute again. Okay, that didn't work, obviously. Everyone's probably thrilled with that. Hey, went away. Okay, I might just try to rejig this a little bit. Sorry if there's echo. And then if I switch that. Okay, is that working? Static is definitely related to that cam. That's not working at all. Hello. Let's see now. Is that microphone working? I don't think so. Let's try to plug the microphone back in. It doesn't appear to be working. How's that going? Hello. That should be working. That should work. Can you hear me at all? Because I can't hear me. Let's go there. See if that's working now. No. Yes, we can hear you fine. Okay, cool. So this is true. Oh, sorry guys. It's all been a bit of a disaster start. Let's sort of get to test this because I'm not sure whether it's just the way it's coming through and I'm not hearing it. Back to that. Hopefully it's all working good now. Okay, cool. That's good. That's working. All right. Whew. One disaster save for the next 5 minutes at least. Back to building this thing. What was I up to? I think we've done those. Just need to put in some pictures. Sounds better like this, and we can hear you. Thanks for giving me a heads up on that stuff. Yeah, I really need to have a look into that and see better solutions. One step forward, 2 steps backwards. So you staying nearby to where you live, Rixane, or you sort of camping out somewhere? Rixane, what part are you building now? That's actually a good question. I might just go a couple pages. I think this might be the dome part of the head, like the very top. So, no, last week, I may have repeated myself a little with this, but the build on this is really quite interesting. I'm not, ironically enough, not a big fan of the set, not so far. We mainly got it as it was on sale, and I'm doing some mocks, which I'm using a lot of black pieces at the moment. And I just looked at that, and actually, there's a lot of pieces I need in that. It's actually really good value. That said, like this is only about a third of the way through, and it's come up pretty quick. So that part of the build is quite nice. Considering, years ago built that 2002 Darth Maul bust, and Tech was around last week. So just chatting about that, and that was kind of painful. Whereas this doesn't have that same level of pain. But I think a lot of that has to deal with, obviously, a lot of time has passed between then and now, and that was more of a Lego sculpture type build. Whereas this obviously can use the spot techniques things today, which sort of is able to do what it's doing. But it all does feel a little bit chunky. Let me just adjust that slightly. And that's slightly better. We'll get there one day. Because bricks being, when you use your two cams, do you just do two browsers, or do you use StreamYard's Direct or OBS? Maybe I need to think around with OBS a little bit more. I know when using OBS, whenever if I want to do like drawing on an iPad, trying to screen that, it's a bit of complicated setup. But I think that's more because I'm using a PC as opposed to a Mac. On a Mac, it seems pretty straightforward. You just sort of record it, but on a PC, it's like you got to screen mirror it across to the PC, capture it, and then put it through OBS, and put it as a external virtual feed. And then if you happen to go to sleep for a minute or whatever, it all drops out and it can be a pain to connect. When I'm streaming by myself, I use OBS. Usually there's 4 or 5 cameras running in different scene configurations. Okay, I may have to look into that. Is there any sort of tips for young players that you have with using OBS? Yeah, I think I've already got a setup for that. Because sometimes when I'm doing videos, if I'm trying to capture a screen and then have like a talking head in the corner, that feels weird. I've used both StreamYard and Melon. They're 1080p settings, and they're both nowhere near as crisp as OBS. Oh, really? OBS is free too. Yeah, no, I use OBS for a lot of screen recordings and things like that. Initially, just a little bit. I'm trying to think. I know there's something else I used to use it a lot for. As with any sort of open source, very powerful once you wrap your head around it. And I probably don't use nearly any of the functions for it. They're really good too. Because I think too, Brixton, didn't you have like a little stream deck or something as well? Was that talking to it? Sort of pop in. It's just no good for having guests on. Yeah, no, really, you just sort of way. But StreamYard for guests seems to be okay. Sort of a really low basic level. I mean, in terms of what I use it for and things like that, I'm sure other people get hardcore into their streaming and everything else like that and probably understand and appreciate the subtleties and a lot more. So that looks good. I have a stream back, but you can't get pretty clever with the plugins too. I used auto scene witching in particular. Whoa. That all just sounds way too technical. Auto scene witching. Auto scene switching. Oh, okay. Auto scene witching sounds much better though. Yes. I was down in the Lego cabin brewing away with my auto witching. Let me get to this. There, just need one more here. It was interesting, some of these new stuff. I guess it's a my brick at the end of the day, isn't it? Is it 2/3? It's full home. So I'm talking to myself like the whole stream has been talking to myself. Some of these around like three by 3. Originally thinking it was 2/3 high, but no, it's actually it's kind of like one of the usual 1 by 3 slope bits, and I'm just rotating it around 90 degrees. Just to give that little bit of flatness and curvature to it. Just seeing little hints of purple there. Oh no, it's the side of the head. New piece. It's for me. I sort of usually don't get too many things day one. Usually wait 6 to 12 months until it goes in sale or something like that. But in terms of the bills, that's just a bag, and even messing up all the broadcast stuff, still able to do that pretty quick. So if we this thing going, there's the he feels like something's not here. Like I said, it's going to be the side of the head. No, it's going to be the back of the head. Okay. That's what I was looking for. It's not feeling. Oh, let me push it right in. It feels like a contact lens, not meant to do that. So the back of his head, and then let's keep that up a little bit and see what we can see. So back of his head, we a little zone. That works for what it is. Okay, bag noise time. Sorry, everyone. See, put that there. bit of music there. Good. The surprise, I guess, with this is the amount of purples and magentas and pinks. You can probably just see that. So, you obviously think of Black Panther. In the name, it's black. I think, maybe a few little still highlights or something. This is it's almost like a friend set that super wrapper within a wrapper or something. Brixine, if you're using OBS, do you feed OBS straight to YouTube, or do you run it through like StreamYards or something? There's like a virtual camera, like the outputs of virtual camera. I'm curious. I've never really tried direct. Direct feed into YouTube. It's always been StreamYard into Blackwood. Straight to YouTube and Twitch. Okay. That's one thing I've never. So, would imagine what OBS. You create a you start recording, you start streaming, and I'm guessing it must pop up saying what's the YouTube thing, the YouTube input. Wow. Which I guess if you go into YouTube, the actual video page has probably got it there. I've never particularly looked into that, so I don't know. Certainly something to think about. I don't know what it was like when I took a break from streaming for about a year, and it just seemed like you want to come back to it. The whole sort of 2-camera things through a browser, that used to work really well, and then ever since back doing this, it's just been no end of grief. It's just like, why did they change something? Just don't get it. You can just log into your accounts and you can schedule streams from within it too. Okay, cool. Certainly the very first time I ever looked at streaming or whatever that, you look on YouTube, it's like wanting links and all sorts of things. It's like, oh, this is way too daunting. And then, everyone was using StreamYards. I'm like, yeah, it's that simple. You just connect your accounts, plug it in, and away you go. Oh, okay. That's not easy. I think that usually before the stream, I'll have a quick look as to what was the main announcements for last week. And I think the big one was the UCS X-Wing, which seems like a bit of a no-brainer at times. Then what else? Up was announced last week. Rivendell was last week. BTS was last week. Trying to think of anything else that's really been announced this week. I'm sure I must be missing something obvious. It's never a bad thing. It's like, oh, nothing announced, nothing I can want. Although I think Brick Clicker did a video on the superhero stuff, Batcave coming, which looks like it's going to be about $500, and a couple of Marvel ones, which are at that sort of 500, 550 price point. So, will this year, will it be an Avengers Tower instead of something like this? Man, I've been priced out of Lego these days. I can't afford sets. So once I have to stop buying it together, literally haven't bought a set since the price increases. Yeah, no, that's fair enough, and certainly, you've seen that sort of tone with things. You're talking about price increases sort of 2022, the beginning, I suppose, because 2022 for us, we got the double whammy. We got the first of January when we all walked in Legos, and it's like, wait a minute, everything's more expensive, even the pick a brick stuff. Which, because I started doing mocks again recently, I went into my own videos, and then it's like, when was the last time I did like a tab walk, or we used to do those a lot, and it was like 2021. I think once they did the price increase, like, I'm not even really paying attention to this anymore. Because when I did a breakdown of it, unless you're getting like really small 1x1 pieces, pretty much Bricklink, even with postage, is going to be cheaper than pad wall. Obviously, if you need something right then and there, the pad wall's good for that, provided you've got what you want. But otherwise, particularly the bigger pieces, like when I mean bigger piece, anything bigger than sort of a 1x2 tile or 1x2 plate or anything like that. Like, if you got these on the pick a brick wall, it was actually going to be cheaper to get them ordered through Bricklink. About 6 months now. Yeah, that was sort of like the August, July one. Was given a couple of sets to review, but haven't got my wallet out to buy anything. Yeah. It's funny, I usually multiple times a week, somebody's reaching out to say, hey, will you review something if we send it to you? Which now I'm starting to get a bit of a bulk answer, because when they say review it, they'll provide it for free, and as such free, but that's it. And so like, well, hold on a minute, it takes me a good day to film it and edit it and upload it, tag it, promote it on socials and everything like that. So, and I think there's one of the lighting companies was in contact the other day, and it's sort of like, oh, we've done it for the jazz club and the A-frame. If we give you the light kits, will you do the reviews for both of them? And I'm just sort of like, this is my rate, because obviously don't particularly have either of those sets, and they've only just come out, so there's no discounts or anything yet. I'm like, oh no, we don't have a budget. It's like, really? So even then, it's like, well, how about the rate as a store credit? Oh no, we can't do that either. It's just like, yeah, you just want people to work for free for you and promote your brand, and you can't even do any sort of goodwill gesture or anything like that. That's starting to get a little bit annoying. reminds me very much of doing a lot of art stuff. People want you to do drawings and paintings and everything for basically nothing. It'll be good exposure. It's like, have you not heard of the internet? I can go on there and I can give myself all the exposure in the world that I need. And I don't get hamstrung by all your nonsense and revisions and changes. Yeah, and that's also a little bit why I started streaming again, because there's just starting to get a few too many boxes in the backlog, and so like this is pointless. Let's just make a little bit of time to sit down and actually build some of this stuff. So it is quite therapeutic. About a couple of weeks ago, fortunate, Lego was in contact to build a couple of sets, which they provided, and did that. And then it was for some filming advert or something or other, and they were going to be doing drop tests or something of that. So the sets got all smashed up. So they sent us, the bits after, and I built 2 of the grand pianos, and they came back all in pieces. And it's just like, I'm not sure I could go through and rebuild them again. I'll just put that box to the side. Again, the nice thing about that was grand piano has got a lot of black pieces. So my Lord Cabbage, good to see you along. Hope that you're well. How's your week been? Caught the Cabbage Corner last week on London Calling. Or is it Kobe Corner? Cabbage Kobe Cabbage. I'm sure there's something to that. Just not sure what exactly it could be yet. And I'm sure there's something else I saw. There's another meme or something from the Cabbage Stir. You've had some good ones lately. Yeah. Cabbage, not bad. How's yours going? Yeah, going pretty well. The start of the stream was a bit of a disaster, so you probably come in at a reasonable sort of time. There's something just weird going on with sound and 2 cameras and things like that. So there was 2 cameras, although maybe it was just everyone in the chat going, you know what? Yeah, it must be the face cam. Let's get rid of the face cam. That's the problem. So hence the hand modeling. Where's the other one there? What's the other streams you frequent, Cabbage? Is it the one with, is it McBricksworth or something? I always feel like I see the promo things like after you've done it. It's like, oh. So no, I've gone along for a little bit and I've skipped a step. That's not good. What is that? These trans purple pieces freak me out. I don't think I've seen them in this color before. Let me get that one over there. Now, does that go back? It makes a bit more sense now. So that's the 8 ones going across there. Just wondering, has anybody out there seen Ant-Man and the Wasp? Not Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man 3. There's a quantum meaning or something like that. It's sort of like, I haven't really paying that much attention, but kind of, just through social media and things like that, got a little bit of an idea of the major spoilers and things. Not spoilers, well, yeah, spoilers, but plot points. And I don't know, hasn't really been the sort of thing where run out and see it. I mean, even on Disney Plus, I think I was reading somewhere it's now on Rotten Tomatoes the worst audience view or audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes of any of the Marvel films. And there's something like 3 of the 5 worst rating ones have been recently. Like, I think the other one was Thor: Love and Thunder, which I must admit, I started watching that on Disney Plus, got about an hour into it and just couldn't finish it. It's like, yeah, I need to finish that one day. It just seemed too goofy, but goofy stupid, not goofy funny. Which is a shame because, obviously you got Chris Hemsworth as an Aussie Thor. I want to see it do well. Comes around this side. There. Nah. Now, so what's this? Is this the lower part of the face, I think? And it goes up that way somehow. So a lot of them seem to have some on the other side too. I don't know if this is going to get in and see it. You got these little cantilever pieces which stick out. Like there's one on the back of the head, and it's like part of this just then rests on there. I suppose helps for weight. That just does not feel connected really solidly. That's not good. That's even worse now. Oh, geez. That's that silly little piece. Oh, it's down the back of the cupboard. You can just hear that. It's like Yep, that's not good. Come on, get on there. Get on there. Okay, so kind of that part there. Something tells me I'm not going to find that other bit anytime soon. I didn't see it. No, that could get interesting. Need to crawl around to find that. So let's put that over there. It's just that thing on every building on like a flat surface. You just hear that the pieces bouncing as they get close to the edge of the table. It's like, don't go off, don't go off. And you hear it drop onto the ground. It's like, it went off. No. Come up with here, that, get there. It's that one there. A couple of 1x4s. It's just weird making these things because you're making all these little sub-assemblies, and it's kind of like, I have no idea what I'm even making. That's like, how is this even going to fit on? At least, if you're building a car, you get a sense of the chassis and the wheels, or if you're doing a building, you're building up the sides of some walls and roofs or something like that. Whereas this, because it's not in the way it's done, it's like, okay, interesting build. I'm not really sure what I'm building. I'm not really sure whether this is going the right way or the wrong way. It can be a little odd that way. That seems okay. I'm guessing these must be little details in and around the face. Not got much to go off. So you're going from black to a couple of these silver pieces, or is it drum lacquer silver, or who knows? Transferable piece, get that in there. That seems to go up there. I'm guessing this is going to be the muzzle or something. Which one is that? Is that a left or right? I think it's that. Immediately obvious. Here. It's weird having so many of these. If it is a drum like it's silver, it's because you usually only see them so rarely. So, oh, let's not scratch it. Don't scratch it. And that looks like the bottom is going to be a car hood or something. Is it there? Looks like there's 4 of these weird things. Now I was just gonna clip into that other piece. goes and gives it the offset. And then that is the ding. You got these little clips which are obviously going to go into here somehow. It's almost like they want that to go forward. It feels like it's leaning back. That all the way in. I think that's it. Ooh, what is that? Ah, that's an interesting piece. Break it down here. It's one of the eyes. You just see the dots on there. So that's a printed piece that's slightly reflective, and then you got it in the eye, individual dots. I'm guessing one for each side. Are they the same or are they different? No, it's slightly different. Left and right. Sorry, was just busy building, was listening though. This copter for the Avatar set is a really nice build, and I love the way that each set can be displayed in its own right. Yeah, I remember with that helicopter, the way that you put the two big round things on the top was quite a cool way that they did that. It's like really simple but really effective. And yeah, the boy, one of the kids was playing with it earlier this evening. What's that? Goes that going into there? Like a weird tear duct or something? And have you built for the Avatar set there, Trevor, have you built the actual main base part itself? So that's a nice build, and it's different. I don't want to, if you haven't built it, though, spoil it for you, so. When did they get put on? Oh, so it goes that way, and then, okay, so that's those two there. Yeah, I think the only downside with some of the Avatar sets is it's very like heavily Dragonist based. Ah, that's interesting. That's the way this eye is going to connect in. Put it over here. It's literally just a Technic axle pin. It's going to somehow sit on here, I guess. I can have a little bit of a swivel. I'll go through it. Which I would imagine is just going to be a mirrored version of that. More arms. Trevor, have you seen the second Avatar film at all? It's certainly I think that the house is going to get around to building it. Seemed like a cool build. And just remember originally seeing And they released the blue, I'll call it the blue whale thing, but whatever, it looks like whale. It seemed weird the way that it was, but then in the film, it's one of the story points, and sort of get it. It's like, okay, so that's why that was like that on the Lego set. I always find that a little challenging when they do Lego sets, like to coincide with films, like particularly if you see the sets a long time before the actual film, it's a like can give away story points and things. Kind of like little Lego small version of spoilers. Trevor, yes, all built. The last one in the series, I'm on with trying to buy the Avatar Way of the Water sets, although I'm taking myself out of the Rivendell set, trying to be lured. The children want to see it. I want to go too. Yeah, because we obviously once they brought out the Avatar sets, the first wave was it November last year? Maybe October. So I'd sit down and have the kids see if they could watch the film, because it's obviously 3 hours long. And they watched it and loved it. So I was like, okay, so probably do the 3 hours and 10 minutes plus ads plus whatever else. And yeah, we went and saw that at IMAX, and they loved it. And visually, it is quite amazing. So that's. You have to forgive the angle. Can I get that up there? Or maybe move that across. Yeah, so the eye's interesting. The way that that's built. I need to get the second lot of instructions. Here. Just need to double check. I think I put the soul sticker in here somewhere. Could be good. Could be bad if I didn't. Okay, that's not good. Oh no, there it is. Still in the other cardboard there. Brickapix, welcome along. Hope that you're going well this evening, afternoon, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are. How's things with you? I'm just building a little Black Panther here. Just finished the left and right eyes, and now I'm going to have to go and hunt through the bags. It may not have been so bad, but right there on the top. Because I'm in the UK, so evening. LOL. Sorry, my bad. Excuse the bag noise. That's always a weird thing with streaming sometimes when you don't see people. You don't actually see backgrounds and lights and get a sense of, it's broad daylight, so they're obviously on that side of the world. Let's see, what's going to be most interesting? Trevor, I'm just building another Avid set. I love them. Do you have many more to go? Or are you sort of like starting to have gotten through them all now and it's like, oh no. All good things are coming to an end. There's no more sets until the next film. Whenever that is in a couple of years' time. But I don't think it's that long, because I think they pretty much filmed films 2 and 3 simultaneously. Getting back to that time, Matt, when you enabled us all last week to get the table football, hoping it arrives tomorrow and not the day after when I'm away. Oh no! Yeah, that was that's it. Yep, still got it written down there. So it was you, Tech, and Brixish. All got them. So yeah, I think as we sort of said to the stream, the 9th of March. So that's not next Thursday, the week after, because I think I'm going to probably about 2/3 of the way through this one tonight, and then finish it off next week, and then have the week after. So yeah, if there is any straggling deliveries or whatever, you can get it in there. I thought that was so funny when you guys were doing that. That was hilarious. I love that. Greg makes me laugh on his channel. He pauses his stream with a back soon screen card and then re-enters his stream. This all to open the bag because of the rustling. Yeah, I'm not as professional as some of the others. I'm sure I'll get there one day. Maybe I'll throw up an advert or something. So I think at this stage we're still just struggling to get 2 cameras working and the sound together. So I sort of think to myself, okay, if each stream I do, if I can just do one thing a little bit better, then I'm making progress. The last couple of streams, it feels like I'm going backwards at the moment. We'll get there. I'm still convinced it's all just a ploy just to get rid of face cam by the audience. Built now the first series. I can now build the Way of Water sets. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we got a couple of the Way of the Water ones because Amazon did a pre-order, and the discount that they had on them as a pre-order was like really good. So it's like, oh yeah, kids are into it, and yeah, I'm not going to pass that one up. But even so, I still don't think it was only on like 2 of the sets, but it was still like, even though the sets have been released and discounted, it was still better than any discount I've seen yet. So it's cool that way. I had an idea to display those in an aquarium. That is a really cool idea. That could work really well too. And then it comes down to if you want to knock anything more out of it, because you can obviously have the sort of like underwater bit, and there's been some people recently doing some like amazing coral type reefs and things like that, so I'm sure you can really deck that out. And then you'd have like the surface level, and do that sort of scene. And then obviously they can also be flying around, so you then have like some of your dragony type ones even higher up after that. That's actually a really cool idea. An aquarium sort of thing. And then it could be the sort of thing, possibly even use real water. The only thing would be the stickers. I'm just trying to remember if they had too many stickers. I don't think those sets do. And Breakbeat, no Trevor, he totally goes and has a pee outside behind his cabin. Being a visual person, there's all sorts of things on. If I was drawing tonight, maybe if you come along to, I'm on London Calling tomorrow. Come along to London Calling tomorrow and then start doing some of those comments, and maybe there might be a couple of cartoon gags that already. Maybe mention it after 9 o'clock or something. Trevor's videos, I had no idea he did that Brickapigs. Well, streams can be quite long. Depends upon the level of hydration. Speaking of which, where'd my water go? There it is. Brickapigs, LOL, I'm kidding. I have no idea what he does, but there's a rumor. What started by Craig. Trevor's, I just don't know how to build coral or the reef. Just an idea. Yeah. I've been seeing. I'm just trying to think. I haven't seen BrickBots. I've heard of their reef one. I don't think I've ever actually seen it. And then on Instagram, was it on Instagram or somewhere in the last day or two? There was somebody showing theirs and what they were doing. And I think they were just sort of like asking them, their fans or whoever it was for pieces to use, and that somebody suggested a piece or whatever, and then they just went through and used it. From the, as you go scrolling through and you see a whole bunch of different stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. I'll remember that for later, and then it's like I remember part of it, but not all of it. I'm sure with any of that sort of stuff, half the time these days, if you don't know how to do something, just quickly go over to Rebrickable and go, whatever it is, and just type it in. Landscape, reef, whatever. Generally, somebody's already done it, and there's a couple different versions. Good to use it as like an inspiration point, or just get ideas. So somewhere earlier today, what did I see? That's some really cool idea. Then I had to, I'm starting to get sucked down that rabbit hole. It's like, no, back to work, need to do something else. Brickapigs, I think the Brick Bods are displaying their reef at Bricktastics. I'll take some pics of it. Yeah, no, that's probably why I haven't seen it. I think it's been on streams and I've been talking about it and things. So, Brickapigs, we'll do that. Yeah, great. Trevor's here. That would be so cool. Thank you, Brickapigs. Yeah. Brickapigs, I'm meeting up with Greg on Saturday. I think I will mostly hear him before I see him. No. You'll see. It'll be like the level level people's heads, and then you'll just see this giant iPad in the back coming towards you. No, that'll be cool. Have you ever met Greg before, like in real life? I think the first time, been streaming with him for years, and then New Year's Day, not the one gone past, but a year ago, we actually met for the first time at the Blue Water Lego store, which, according to the Brick Pods, is over in Spain or something. Each time I say it, should make up a different place. Yeah, this week it can be in Spain. It's in Kent. So. And then I think last week it was just Freudian slip of the tongue. It's like brick water. It's like, yes, I think I'll be calling Blue Water Brick Water from now on. Thank you, not confused. So, yeah, it's kind of strange when you've been dealing with people for like so long in different capacity, never met them, and then you actually meet them. Because usually by then you're somewhat aware of idiosyncrasies, and I mean the big thing these days is like, it seems to be, it's like, oh, you're taller than what I thought, you're shorter than what I thought. Because I guess, particularly with something like this, you just see hands. And even when you don't see hands, when you see like people, it's, depending upon where people put their cameras and things like that, it's really hard to get a sense. Brigby Sahaha at his Arhead. No, not met him yet. Craig still will be there as well. He's displaying. Oh, cool. Yeah. No, Craig does some fantastic mocks. You always see him tinkering around with things. So, love to. Never met Craig in real life. That seems wrong. What have we done there? So yeah, no, that sounds like it's gonna be great to catch up with those guys. I hope that you have a good time with it. I'm sure that you will. Blue water does sound like it's a board to be fair. Yeah. Sort of thing like you don't get too much sort of blue water and clear blue water in the UK. So this is kind of like the side earpiece. And I'm gonna need that. Oh no, do I need that bit that fell off? High T Toys will also be there. Oh, awesome. I mean, sometimes like that, it's like, I'm so jealous. I really need to get organized with some of these things. Okay, now to try to find this bit which went flying off somewhere. I'm not looking forward to this. It's actually pretty cool because it locks it into place. Oh, I think I see it. That's lucky. Not sure what that's off. Trevor, say hello to High Tea Toys. Enjoy her content. Excellent. I think that's one time sometimes I'm just streaming and doing all those gags. You're kind of paying attention to things, but you're kind of not. So it's like, I'm pretty sure I've streamed with some people multiple times. Craig had a display Bricktastic before, and I was there, but didn't know him then. Yeah. I think, was it last week when he was on the stream? He pulled out like his little 1x8s of all the different shows, and they seem to go back to about 2014 or something. Was that the right place? That's a very not flattering angle. Let's just pull more up there for a sec. So yeah, last week there was a couple of these purple pieces. I never did find them. So I had to build them up and just by, when you finish the set and you just got a whole bunch of random 1x1s that are lying around, so I just grabbed them. Because those purple ones, I think they're kind of, not so much rare, but they're not very common. Check that can go to there. Yeah, okay, just making sure that's up. Such a weird way to hold that on. Brickapix will do Trevor. Will most likely go to Wagamama's. We normally end up there as well. When Tech is there, I promised not to steal his hat this time. Yeah, Tech's great value. And when he puts his mind to it, he does some pretty awesome mocks too. Just trying to think what this is off. He found it down on the floor. It's like, is that off an X-Wing or something? I'm just having a look. Is it off Optimus Prime? I don't think so. I'll figure it out later. Kids may have been in here, so who knows? Come back. Where are we building? Are we here? Okay, let's have a look at the other side now. I was also having a look on Bricklink the other day, and funnily enough, 8x8s on Bricklink are really not very common at all. In relative terms, usually you've got, each color and each style will have like thousands and thousands minimum available, and it's like, these were in the low hundreds. Like if you can find available in the UK, if you could find a color which had more than about 200 of them available, you're doing quite well. It's like, wow, I didn't realize how rare 8x8s actually were. And in relative terms, they're not hugely expensive. Oh boy, that's going to get stuck in there. I've got a little tile stuck in the bottom here. Pizza, there we go. Doesn't look like an X-Wing. Yeah, it's going to annoy me now. It's off something. Anyhow. Those 8x8s are on pad walls at the moment in light tan. Yeah. It's one of those things where, again, 8x8s, because they're not hugely expensive, like even on Bricklink, you can get them for about 20 to 40p, depending upon the color. To get a whole cup of these, just looking at the economics, I suppose with postage, it actually might be worthwhile. I have to think about that. Anyhow, I did a brick water, blue water, I'm saying it now, pad crawler video a couple of weeks back. I'm gonna go back and have a look and see what was there. I'm pretty sure there was one there too. Whether it's because originally they had them like about a year or two ago in light bluish grey. Because I got a number for making up little mini figure stands. Because I had them, and then they had the 1x2 light bluish grey masonry bricks. So you had most of the pieces ready, at least for the way which I did the minifigure stands. So I've done instructions for them, and at some stage I've always meant to just do a quick little video, put them up on Rebrickable or something. There's a number of things like that which I've done. Like I've also done a St. Paul's Cathedral, sort of like micro scale. This is one of the projects the kids had to do during lockdown. It's like a week of every day they were expected to build a famous monument. So we just do it out of Lego. Everybody was doing it out of cardboard and whatever else. So we just quickly did one for St. Paul's Cathedral. I should use Rebrickable more. Yeah, Rebrickable is great. The only downside is I start looking at that and going, "Ooh, that's an interesting alternate build. Ooh, that's an interesting alternate build. Should get that set." There's been a number of sets I've gotten, not so much for the actual sets themselves, but for the alternate builds on Rebrickable. It's like, it just feels something wrong and expensive. Big Nate Bricks, welcome along. Hope that you're going well. How's your day been? Anything exciting happening in your part of the world? I'm just here building some Black Panther Bust. Still going along. Discussing the relative merits of the rareness of 8x8s on Bricklink. which at least in the UK, if you go through the different colours, like if it's in the whole of the UK, so like I think there's on Bricklink, there's like 200 tan ones available. I think there was like 300 green ones. I think there was maybe 200 light bluish grey, maybe 250 dark bluish grey. Like I was really surprised. Normally, with pieces, the minimum amounts are going to be, if there's only a couple of thousand, that's rare. Usually things are 10, 20,000. When you're up around the 100,000 million, like, your little black Technic pins and things like that, there's usually a couple million of those things. Let me get onto that. Brickfix. Actually, that's true. I have 3 bags upstairs of half collected parts for rebrickable sets. LOL. What sets? Just out of interest. Always curious. Because I've done things off there. The first thing I ever did was a 1989 Batmobile. Which is still, is that here? Yeah, it's up there. I think it was JK Brickworks one? No. Jerry's Bricks. I always get the two of them because Jerry does most of the car ones. Just trying to see if I missed a bit. No, that all looks good. It's going to go up that way. And where's this going to go? It's going to connect in under the mouth. So like part of the jaw. See if I can move this up a little bit. So there's a little here. It's okay. I'm just thinking whether or not that's all that gappy. It's not brilliant. It's not terrible. Trevor's videos. I'm on Instagram. By the way, Matt, if you wish to give us a follow. Yeah, if you can just go onto Instagram, just drop me a DM, and then I can just go straight from there. I'm terrible at remembering things and things times, but yeah, no, definitely. Trevor saying hi to Brickabix. I bought the flower art set the other day. Is there any rebrickable alternatives to make from this set? What you do is you just go to Trevor. Go to rebrickable. You type in the set number, and it will come up. And then when you go into the actual listing down the page, it will say like alt builds, I think, or there's a tab. You can click on that, and for any set, you can sort of see the alt builds that people have done for that. And Brick It Fix. The Leaky Cauldron, the Robe Shop, and Green Guts, Bricks 1 and 2, Mac, Mick Mac, Mick Mac Paddywhack ones. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's. And then if you go into the other thing, you go into Rebrickable, I think it's click on mocks. And then it will usually have like the hottest ones for the day, which is usually, what's popular at the moment, which is usually a combination of ones that people just recently submitted and, ones that people are just hitting like on and things like that. And that can be dangerous because then you go, "Ooh, that's a really cool idea," or "That's a really cool idea," or "I hadn't thought of that before." Oh, man, look back down here. Thank you. Both great designers, all the Harry Potter kind. Leaky Cauldron, Gringotts. Yeah, no, it's the thing. The only downside with Rebrickable is if people, well, not downside, but I mean, it's great to see when people do like just mocks and have the instructions there and whatever. At least if they're redoing alt builds for existing sets, like generally, obviously, you can get the existing set at a reasonable price. But I generally find if you've got to do a mock of somebody else's instructions and it's not based upon a set, it can get really expensive really quickly, particularly if it's a big set with a couple thousand pieces. That's why sometimes with something like a Gringotts, you're like, yeah, I'm sure it's done really well, but it's getting really expensive to piece together. And it's the classic 80-20 rule. You can have 80% of the pieces, and that will only be 20% of the cost, and the 20% that you don't have will be the rest of the 80% of the cost. I don't know how people found that otherwise when you had to try to put rebrick ones together. Both are great designers, or the Harry Potter kind. Yeah. Can I let that goes there? That all looks good. Is the music okay? I kind of got the headphone plugged in, which I'm not listening to it, so I can't quite hear it. So I don't know whether it's become too repetitive and driving people crazy. We should move on to something else, or it's okay. Brickapixel, I made the mistake of putting my sets on there and not just my pieces. So now it takes into account my sets that I don't want to break up to create mocks. Yeah, no, I know that feeling. I was originally doing a bit the same. Sort of, because what we'd done is we had all the instructions in a box. So we just sort of went through all the instructions and loaded them on, because, you know, obviously just type in the set number, add, set number, add, set number, add. And then doing that, because then it would start giving you some statistics. And I was surprised when it's like, you know, the minifigure count is climbing. It's like, oh, you have 100 minifigures. Oh, you have 200 minifigures. Oh, you have 300. You've got 400. And up it went. Which I've never been huge on minifigures, but one of the kids loves them, which is great. He just grabs hold of it, and, you know, they play all their games and things together, and, you know, mix and mash them all up, different bodies and heads and what have you. They get well and truly used. And then, you know, loves the minifigures to such an extent, it's sort of like, you know, throughout the years somehow I've picked up some custom ones and things like that. So I think when we were kind of just doing it and still in a dark age, but, you know, they'd find stuff on the internet, which didn't realize at the time so much that they were customs or things. So eBay, oh yeah, you got this figure or this group of figures that they want. Okay, whatever. Then the first time you get them, it's like, what's wrong with the quality here? This is weird. Why are their arms not pre-assembled? It's like, oh, this really isn't Lego. I don't get it. And you check the eBay listing, it's like Lego compatible. What does that mean? I thought everything Lego was Lego. And you discover it's like, oh, right. So that's what that means. Flego. I mean, for some things, customs don't really have an issue with, like, when they've done like horror films or, you know, Freddy Krueger's and things like that. It's like Lego's never going anywhere near this stuff, not without a significant change. But up until recently too, Lego's only just in the last year or so been doing Sonic. I mean, they've done the Dimensions one all those years ago. But even that was, I mean, at the time, that was ridiculously expensive. It was like 30 pounds or something like that. Brickapix, when I first joined Rubricable, I didn't realize that peeps could design in the studio and just thought these were people that had so much Lego, make whatever they wanted. Yeah. No, I've noticed, certainly a few years ago, when people were designing, I played around with a couple of different ones, and it feels like Studio in the last year or two in particular has really come on leaps and bounds, because it was kind of clunky to use, and now it's gotten so much better. And of course, the integration with Bricklink is a little bit dangerous. Okay, so that's that side on. Occasionally I'll put instructions up on Rebrickable for things which I've done. So far I've always done it for free because I just don't want the hassle of somebody buying instructions for a couple of pounds, and then something's not quite right in the instructions, and then having to support all of that. It's just like, I'm not sure I could really just have it. Does anybody else out there put instructions up onto Rebrickable? I'd sort of partially done it too, because if you take the time to create something and then later on, particularly when the kids were younger, and then smash stuff up, it's like, if I've done something custom, I don't want to take forever to have to figure out how to rebuild it, and never quite done it the same. It's like, I'll make instructions, and then I know at least some flavor to always exist. Brickapix, I've never put any on. I'm not a PC user. Can you not do it with a Mac, or is just I just don't do it? Didn't realize there was a distinction between them. I think the funniest one I've seen is I did a Halloween pumpkin jack-o'-lantern, like just a reasonable size one, because you either had the really little tiny ones made out of about 20 pieces, or the massive ones. I wanted something in between, so I made one myself, put the instructions up, did a video on how to do it and everything like that. So, every October that video gets a massive bump as people do it. But then one day I was just looking around on a photo account, and I saw a whole bunch of these pumpkins. People been photographing on the side of a beach. And then when I looked closer at the details, because I designed it, there was a couple little quirks to it that I knew. And it's like, and I looked at it, it's like, somebody's actually taken my instructions and building out 5 of these things. And there's just pure randomness that I came across it. So that was kind of cool. Then I got in contact and just like, that's really cool. Did you happen to get these instructions off Rebrickable at all? Because I did the original design for them. I'm like, yeah. It's like, cool. I'm just putting the other side of that headpiece on there. Something doesn't look right. Let me look and say, why do I have a whole bunch of these little triangle-y bits left over? Because you didn't put them on. swear half the people must be on this stream or have it in the background. It's like, does he have any idea of how to build anything? I swear it's the streaming. I'm a man, I can't multitask. Trying to build and follow chat at the same time is too challenging. Bring rates, that's cool. LOL. Yeah. I think anytime you do something creative like that and people see it and they're taking the trouble to buy the parts, not just for one but for 5. So I think each one was 800-900 parts. And they're in orange, and some of the orange ones I didn't realize at the time because I was still learning how to do it. So I did it, and I used a lot of 1x3 orange pieces, which turned out to be really expensive. Well, in comparison, like a 1x3 orange plate was about 20p each, whereas a 1x4 was about 5, and a 1x2 is about 3. 1x1 is obviously about 2. So had I just optimized it a bit more, it would have been much cheaper. But that was in a really early model, so I've certainly learned a lot since then, because a lot of the times now if I design something in studio, I'll go through and do the design and then I'll price it up, and a lot of the times you can figure out ways of optimizing the price and things. Like I was doing something recently and I was doing a lot of 1x12s as part of the design, and I think a 1x12 in a black was about 15p, whereas if you did 2 1x6s, they're about 3p each or something. So solo but real. Sorry, little one. Little one. When I'm guessing is went mental. Solo, have you had your second yet? Is that what you're talking about, or is your older daughter? That sounds weird because I think she's only about 6 or something. Or is she just going mental? What have you missed? We've all been debating at length how people who say they can do really cheap lights and then don't follow through, that is almost the worst kind of sin you can have. Almost as much as opening bags on a stream. Sorry, everyone. Otherwise, the topic of conversation has been around the dangerous expense that is otherwise known as rebrickable.com. I'm just trying to think, Solo, have you done many sort of military mocks off rebrickable? I mean, obviously, I know you do a lot of we have purchased the Kobe ones, which makes sense financially. We've got a couple of them. The eldest is starting to do World War II as a topic at school. So we got a couple of tanks and some planes and things like that, because if you can build it and have it in your hands and things like that, it becomes a little bit more real. Just trying to remember. So I thought you'd built like a little. No, I can't remember. No, she's just mental. No, the baby didn't stop crying. Is this the sort of thing, Solo, where you're back and you're like, oh, now I remember what this was like? Jesus, why did we agree to do this again? Oh, that's right, we thought it'd be good. No. Big Peeps, it's good ASMR. Some peeps pay good money for that sound. Maybe I should do that as a joke video one day. It's just I'm putting a whole bunch of Lego bags and just have it on loop forever and a day. I mean, it's particularly these days with like AI generators and things like that. I'm sure we could sync it up to something. Hey, Brick Picks Solo. I now have over 21 Kobe tanks now. Wow. But I suppose, as like you've had those for years. Like, not had them for years, but you've been building them for a number of years. So you only need to get a couple each year and fortify your ranks, sort of thing. But I know occasionally I see, obviously, Cabbage talking about it and things like that. It seems like there's a good wave about to come out. Like, are you sort of, is your wallet dangerously more concerned about upcoming releases? But mostly concentrating on my dad jokes. Oh, well. Unfortunately, you've come to the right place for that. If you ever want a round of bad dad jokes, watch my yearly Star Wars advent calendar videos. And you too can be completely horrified. And the funny thing is, particularly if you're a guy, you might look at it and go, I'm never going to be like that. That's never going to happen to me. As with a lot of things before you become parents. And then when it happens to you, like, oh God, my life is over. I'm at the level of dad jokes now. So, what do you call a cow in an earthshake? That's great, a milkshake. I'm so sad that I laugh at that and find that so amusing. All right, come on, people. Bad dad joke time now. There's no Aussies around, so I can do my favorite that I've always known. Oh, yeah. Start off. Why'd the koala fall out of the tree? He was dead. Why'd the second koala fall out of the tree? It was stapled to the first one. Why'd the third koala fall out of the tree? Thought it was a Congo lion. Why'd the fourth koala fall out of the tree? Peer pressure. Why'd the kangaroo die? A whole bunch of koalas fell on it. Yes, officially entered the realm of bad jokes time. I kid you not, there's an ASMR guy that builds Lego. It seems like if you can think of it, somebody's probably done it. Well, it's not so bad. I'm not spending as much on Lego these days. Yeah, I think Bricksing was in earlier a little bit commenting on that. He really hasn't purchased anything since their price like 6-8 months ago. I think I've just noticed, like, just in general, it seems to be within the Lego community, there's a lot more consciousness around sort of price and, really being a lot more selective in what people are buying. I suppose the other nice thing is if you're only looking at Kobe, it's not like they're doing these crazy £500-600 sets. But having said that, dare I tempt the solo? You've probably seen during the week, UCS X-Wing. Is that going to be something that you get tempted with solo? Or are you quickly changing the channel now so that you don't hear it any further? What's orange and sounds like a parrot? A carrot. Jeez. I can't even pretend that I didn't laugh. Brigapix, my Aussie mate, had me googling drop bears a couple of weeks ago. Oh, yeah. Particularly when I was at university, we used to get a lot of American exchange students, and we were always telling them about the drop bears. You've got to be careful and watch out. And it's the sort of thing like, if you say drop bears to an Australian, they know what it is. It's almost like an unspoken sort of thing. Like you always have to say, yes, drop bears, they're real. Dangerous creatures. You got to be so careful around them. Like, I mean, everything else in Australia is out to kill you, so why wouldn't those things? And yeah, the American exchange students, without fail, you could wind them up pretty good with it. Trevor, what scares a panda? Bamboo. Oh dear. I think I might have started something. Yeah, it's all your fault, Solo. This is the sort of behavior that we'd expect out of a cabbage. Do you know how many people are dead in that cemetery? All of them. What was the other one? Yeah, I think a pilot was going over and for like a commercial pilot, so like a Boeing 747. He was in the hangar and he walked over to the technician and he said to the technician, how often do these things crash? And the technician said, usually just the once. So X-Wing is very tempting. Yeah, I'm sure by the time they bring out an ultra special loop that you can only find in that set, and then you buy it, and then 6 months later it's on the magazine cover as a poly bag, something like that. But yeah, it's sort of, I sort of look at the X-Wing, been back into Lego for a while, and in that time they've never released a UCS X-Wing that I've been into it, so it sort of makes sense because it comes out, and certainly as opposed to a land speeder, it could be tempting. Solo, are you looking at going along to Star Wars Celebration, or are you kind of on more the family commitment side of things these days? Watched some reviews yesterday on Rivendell. Does look impressive. Yeah, I haven't watched too many. I think. Obviously seen all the pictures and everything for it. Maybe I'm just protecting from myself. So like, if I start watching those things, I guess it's also at this stage too. It's the people who are reviewing it. Obviously all part of the land and everything like that. So not necessarily going to get an unbiased opinion. And particularly with some of the Lord of the Rings stuff, obviously the films came out about 20 years ago. A lot of people reviewing it don't think we really ever watched those films, so it's not saying it's based directly on the films or anything like that, but how does that get connected? That's weird. Solo, I'm terrified of elevators. I'm going to take steps to avoid them. Last one, I promise. Yeah, it's like sayings. What do they used to call those elevator drivers? Maybe they were just elevator drivers. What are the days like? Well, it has its ups and downs. Brigapix, I'm going to Star Wars Celebration. Can't wait. Awesome. No, I'm on dad duty this year, unfortunately, so no Star Wars for me. I guess I'll just have to watch the films. much to my Mrs. Horror. Is that how? So like, oh, if you don't let me go, I'm going to watch it. I did see an interesting statistic the other day. If you go through and were to watch all the major films, all the TV series, all the animated ones, like pretty much all the main canon Star Wars stuff, back to back, it would take you something like 6 days. It's like, wow, that's a lot of content now, compared with. Oh, and I think that did include the Christmas specials. Yeah, certainly when we were growing up, you had the 3 films, the holiday special, and what was it, the Ewoks one. Brigapix with sleep or not, I could do that. No, that's 6 days just queued up, no sleep. Like that's so yeah. I don't know when I started hearing that, because as the kids, did I forget some pieces? Of course I did. Is that upside down? Yeah, probably. Don't take it off. Nah, let's just try to do it from there. The kids hadn't seen Clone Wars, like the full animated series. And obviously Bad Batch was coming out the second season, so I wanted to bring them up to speed on that. So we tried to start watching that. I mean, we got a good way into the 5th season. But even then, because that's a lot of episodes, it's not until you start looking back on it, it's like, yeah, there's actually a fair bit of content out there now. Brickabix, oh wait, I couldn't do Clone Wars, so I missed those special ones that don't exist. Yeah, well, that's what I kind of think about the sequel series. And it's funny because, look, I get it. Clone Wars, you had a generation that grew up on them, and we sort of recognize these days that Clone Wars, it wasn't as bad, blah 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 blah. And I don't think it's so much that. I think it's more that you had the sequel series come along and realize how bad things could be. It's like, you know what? Let's have a look at reassess this Clone Wars stuff. Compared to the sequels, it's really not that bad. So, Solo, I must hit the hay. Take care. Yep, no, thanks for stopping by, Solo. Hope you have a good one. Hope everything goes well and family's fighting fit. And get some sleep, by all means. And we'll just think about what's on the rad. That was a funny thing. I don't know if you saw it when Greg had his 156 stream, like 3-year-1. He had as part of his Kahoot, it's sort of, Solo used to have a segment. What was it called? And of course, what's on the rad was one of it, and a few of the other bits and pieces. And I guess because we were, there when it happened, to me, it's like, of course, that's the name of it, sort of thing. And I think only half the people got it. It's like, oh, okay. Wow, things change, people change, things move on. It's like, And yeah, so what's on the rad? Brigapeats, I can't watch cartoons. I just can't concentrate on them. Yeah, they have a very different pacing. Like they're really quick, short, sharp sort of thing. It's not really time to breathe. Sometimes, when the narrator comes on, he fills you in on half the things which have or haven't happened. But the recent one, Tales of the Jedi, just the whole way that was done was really, really good. So maybe try to give that a chance. Where is this going? can watch Attack of the Clones. It's the animated series I can't watch. Okay. Yeah, I do find the animated series it does take about three to 4 seasons before you start, really getting into what I think to be more the good bits. Yeah, Tales of the Jedi. It came out. It was released mid-season of Andor. It was just really bizarre how they did that. So there's no real hype or anything about it, like before it was released, and then it was released, and it was just really good because it was kind of like filling in some key gaps in between some of the films, and doing it in a very sort of respectful is not the right word, but it kind of felt like it fitted in with more of a George Lucas version of what Star Wars is, as opposed to some of the other. I mean, it was kind of done, I think, headed up by Dave Filoni, so it was kind of like some of his just, I wouldn't say throwaway ideas, but just like he had some little backstory bits and pieces, I guess he wanted to tell. It worked really well, and it really it does shift your focus. I think particularly for Mace Windu, it's not very sympathetic to him at all. You do often wonder about that sometimes. Well, I mean, I do. Obviously, we had the original trilogy, which was, at that stage, it was sort of like, Luke Skywalker's story. And then when you got the prequels, it felt like it shifted the story to Anakin and Darth Vader. I cannot find. There it is. So now, if you go through and you watch, I find, if I watch episodes 4, 5, and 6, I think of it more from Darth Vader's point of view or Anakin's point of view. Whereas certainly when we saw them originally, it was more from Luke Skywalker's point of view. And yeah, what I'm trying to get to with this is sometimes when you get these fill-in type stories, it can completely change the perception of characters and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Mace Windu, do they make him a Grey Jedi? Because I've always suspected. Oh my god, that is so true, you do. Yeah. No, it shows... I don't want to spoil it too much, so yeah. I'll just say that it shows him more as a stickler for rules. And because of that, then what are the consequences of that in the wider story? I think it's really interesting from that point of view. Because the other one, which was the other series, was Silence of the Lambs and the Hannibal Lecter character. Again, seeing that original film, there's just no redeeming qualities with Hannibal Lecter. He is just what he is. And then you go a few films later, and then they try to make him sympathetic by having a really rough childhood and and it's just like, I'm not sure I want this really evil and nasty character to be tried to redeem. I'm just not sitting well about this all. I think that's why the Joker works so well. Because until recently, like the whacking Phoenix Joker, that even just sounds weird to say, the whacking Phoenix Joker. They've never particularly given him a backstory. He's been a blank slate, and you just see him as just pure chaotic evil. And then when they had the whacking Phoenix one, they've tried to make him more of a sympathetic type character and things like that. So I'm not sure particularly. Like, good film, don't get me wrong, but it's like, does he kind of lose something here? So I think they're doing a sequel. So yeah, a sequel, and Harley Quinn is being portrayed by Lady Gaga. I think that was one of the ones which came out of the Super Bowl weekend, when they always drop the new trailers and things. Which, first thing you go, okay. But then I think she's going to do a very interesting take on Harley Quinn. Brickbix, they kind of do it on Game of Thrones with Jaime Lannister. But you just have to keep in the back of your head, he chucks a kid out of a window. Yeah, you want bad guys to stay bad guys, yeah. I think you see that sometimes. You have like a bad guy who for like a season or a film or whatever is all powerful and unstoppable, like the good guys save the day and overcome, and then the next film or something they're in, they're like, oh, they're not as powerful anymore, and they're this relegated character who's weak. Does that one goes onto there? Womp womp. I just had an email. Lego will be delivered tomorrow. Now, hopefully, it will be early and not late as I'm flexing at 1 p.m. Ooh. I mean, normally Lego, I think it's DHL, and usually by the morning they'll give you like a more condensed 2-hour window, and then if you need to be elsewhere, it's the option to leave it in a safe place, or you can tell them to leave it with a neighbor or something. But that sounds like foosball trouble's coming. Maybe I'll just put this up. So you then have another plate I've just been working on. And there's a ball joint to connect into there somehow. So, yeah, like that. It's a bit gappy. Yeah. So I'll get on with it. Maybe that's why nobody liked Book of Boba. They keep giving him redeeming qualities. Oh, do we want to get into that? I think for me, one of the issues with the Book of Boba was more he was a character where things were happening to him and he was just reacting. The whole time he was just reacting. Like he's never doing anything, taking charge of the situation. The only person doing that was Fennec Chang. Like even right at the very end, she's the one who takes a stance and goes off and kills the pikeys and the pikes. Sorry. So, as Boba reacting when he got captured, it was Boba reacting when they tried to blow him up and, all that sort of stuff. So, anyhow. So I think fundamentally they just kind of didn't really know what to do with him. Or he just wasn't done well. And I still remember it, even going into the flashbacks. I was thinking about episode 4. As soon as they started to go into the flashbacks, even the kids were groaning. It was like, oh god, not another flashback. Like, you know. I think they went into Boba not really knowing what a flashback was, and by the end of it, hating the device. So, yeah. Trevor's telling to leave it with me. I didn't get one. Prefix is still. Yeah, I'm sure Trevor use Stragglers is very trustworthy and dependable, and if there's a box there filled with Lego, that's where it would stay sealed and everything like that. I'm sure that's it'd be safe in good, capable hands like that. Briggy Pix, I still enjoyed it. LOL. I think unfortunately the episodes enjoyed the most were the ones where Boba wasn't in it. You know, those couple of Mando episodes. Which is just weird, because like, if you know, going into season 3 of Mando, which starts next week, if you hadn't watched Book of Boba, there's going to be that whole thing with, you know, at the end of season 2, he goes off with you know, they have that big thing where Luke comes in and annihilates all the Dark Troopers, and you know, wanders off with Yoda, Baby Yoda. And then you're going to come back and you go, right, so he's off with Baby Yoda, great. And then you're going to come back, it's like, wait a minute, what? Why is Baby Yoda back here? He was with Luke. What? I didn't get it. Like, no, I'm very excited for Mando. Yeah, no. The thing with Mando is, until Mando came along, Disney was struggling with the Star Wars franchise. Yeah, you obviously had Force Awakens, and then Last Jedi, and then Solo. I mean, they started off strong with Rogue One. And then, yeah, it felt like every time they were trying to do something, it just wasn't clicking. And then Mandalorian came along, and it's like, okay, so this is how you can make it work. And sort of righted the ship a bit, I guess. I mean, Brickapix, is there anything in particular that you'd like to see in Mando season 3? What's something you're looking forward to, or hope the story goes? Anything like that? I just hope they, you know, if it is them going back to Mandalore to try to sort all that out, then that's what it becomes, and it's not like going off, you know, each week and having a mission to collect a bounty. But, let's see. Brickapix, Rogue One, last very decent film they made. Yeah, I would agree with that. Of the Disney ones, and it's just bizarre because this is 2023. There's not going to be a Star Wars film. There's not one slated for next year either. Maybe 2025. So that's a long time to pay $4 billion for a franchise, and where your films have been the mainstay of it, and you haven't done a film in a very long time. I guess part of it too is generally when they do the films, they get supported by really good, cost-effective Lego sets. It's like, give us a film so we can have some good stuff at a good price. And then this one's going to go on this side. Though I found entertainment in every Star Wars film. Interesting. Yeah, no, that's. I think. Just trying to think. I really didn't like Rise of Skywalker. Did I find? I want to say yes, but I had some real struggle with that one. Because it just got to the point. It's like, okay, so this character just died. I'm sure they'll be back in 5 minutes. And we'll have some other weird power to explain why they came back, which makes no sense. Okay, so that's that part of the head on there. What do we up to next? I was hoping to see Darth Maul, but I'm not sure if he's dead or alive at present in that timeline. That's an interesting. No, I think he's. I can tell you the reason why, but. Just trying to think when that point. No, he's. Let's just say don't get your hopes up. I'd put it that way. Maybe a flashback. When did we last see him? I'm Solo. It's the end, or did I mention that? Yeah, no, he was. He was at the end. I think I've only seen Solo once, and he's in that hologram. Because didn't the girl in that film double cross Solo? I think. I'm just trying to remember. Sure. Love these glow in the dark pieces, Brigabits. I want more. They didn't give you enough in the sets. Yeah. Those Avatar sets with those glow in the dark pieces are really nice. That's not about that. So that goes there. This goes here. That's it. Okay, so that's that round number one. It's easily explainable. Somehow Palpatine returned. Was it Palpatine or his clone? Like, I just did the clone saying, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to try to think about this one. Just leave it. By that stage, it's like I just. That goes there. Okay, so that goes under there. It's like, why is that not lining up properly? Brigabit's LOL. I don't know, but it's the worst line in history. I mean, at least for the most part, that was the one thing with Rise of Skywalker. The sequel trilogy, it's. Yeah, okay, I get it with Force Awakens, you need to reestablish new generation. Okay, let's have Starkiller Base, and it's going to be massive. And then you get to Rise of Skywalker, and it's like, no, we can have every Imperial cruiser now has their own Death Star attached to them. Like, okay, I just want to see Star Wars where the villain's not a giant monstrous planet with a gun in it. I'll give Andor a pass because it's sort of just explaining a little bit and how it's getting built as a byproduct, which was completely terrifying. I think that was the thing with Andor. Once you start thinking about it, it's like, ooh, wow, man, the Empire is pure evil and ruthlessness. It's to the next degree. Whereas you kind of hadn't really seen that before. You know, you had effectively concentration camps to build the Death Star. Brickapix, our problem is we watched it as adults and we're too critical. Kids loved it. I remember watching the prequels as a 20-year-old and being critical, but now 20 years old now adore it. Yeah, no, I think there is something to that. I think when you've had enough time to digest it, and it's like, oh, another Death Star, main villain of the film, oh, another Death Star, oh, another Death Star. But yeah, if you're approaching it fresh, and you know, visually they had some cool things, like, you know, Kylo Ren's hilt as a cross because it's overflowing with evil and stuff like that. Like, there's some cool things in there. But I guess we also knew Luke Skywalker as a certain character, and then by the time you see him in Last Jedi, it's like, I don't know who this Luke character is. It makes no sense to me. Like, because they watch it as kids, it'll be the same in 20 years, I bet. Yeah, no, I think that's kind of true. Like, I guess, for better or for worse, I grew up on the original Michael Keaton Batman. So it has a certain place. And certainly, you know, seeing him in the new Flash movie, talk about fan service. Yay, bring it on. And yeah, it's just that whole nostalgia thing. Because yeah, other people looking to, you know, the Ben Affleck bit of Batman is their Batman, or, you know, slightly earlier it will be the Christian Bale one, or, you know, if anyone now, probably Pattinson one. So I think it's what, 6 Batman in 30 odd years. So everyone's gonna gravitate towards their own preference, I guess. Oh yes, on another note, I watched Black Adam. I was very confused. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It was weird because I know obviously the post-credit scene and whatever else. It's like, I mean, is there anyone who didn't know about that post-credit scene going into the movie? Like, why are we knowing about a post-credit scene? Like, I just, anyway. I did see an interesting video essay on it, and it's sort of like, you know, it was a vehicle for The Rock, and The Rock wanted to, you know, be the top dog in the DC universe. So like, yeah, no, that's not kind of what we have in mind. Yeah, The Rock was also a generation of, yeah, I guess professional wrestler, which, you know, when they had the that Attitude Era was, you know, Mankind, Stone Cold, and that was all pretty awesome. So on the one hand, yeah, you do want to see him do well in those roles and things like that. But the other, I think, as they sort of say, or as said, he's sequel Viagra, because it's kind of like, well, he's not like a Stallone or a Schwarzenegger where they created franchises from scratch and they could go back to, whether it's for better or for worse, the Terminator, the Rockies, the Rambos, the Predators, even though still Schwarzenegger didn't go back to that. Whereas it seems like every film that's been successful that The Rock's been in, it's been a sequel of some description. Whether it's Fast and Furious, Jumanji's a reboot from the original series, the original film. I mean, what did you, Brigapix, think of Black Adam? I'm curious. Let me see if I can dig in. This is going to be noisy. That's bumpity. Brigapix, yeah, true. Trying to figure out extra bags. Oh, we have to 11. This is going to get. That's a 12. So many bags I had them. The second one still back in the box. So I'm hoping that's enough for it. Soon find out. ASMR coming up. Bits. It's not a film I'd watch again. Like again, most films. It's also not a film you can just go straight into without knowing something about the DC universe. I had to Google halfway through. Yeah, that's not good. Don't get me wrong. It's like the DCU. You just want to work. Like having grown up on the original Christopher Reeve Superman films and having those on VHS and recording them and watching them to death. And then, the Batman films, give or take, Batman and Robin. Okay, so this is all dealing top of the head now. What's going to be the way to do this? Let's just sort of say, extend this up a little bit. Hopefully there's no weird vertigo thing happening here. Because, I think now it's starting to want stuff on top of the head here. I mean, the purple, I've been talking about, obviously all the internals, so like all the brickheads always have the purple for, or the pink for the brain. Pinky in the brain. Travis, I know I'm a novice around here, but I'd like to ask where the best place to get prices from. Sorry, I'm still learning. Prices? Pieces, I mean. Bricklink, usually. It depends on what you want for. Usually if you're doing mocks and things like that, definitely Bricklink. The site is a little bit clunky, and it can take a little bit to wrap your head around it. But what you can do is you create what's called a wanted list of pieces. So you go, right, I want 6 of these, 5 of those, this, that, and the other, and then you sort of can select them. You hit sort of like buy all, which will then sort of start thinking about it, and then when you go to the next page, you'll generally select UK or Europe. I mean, you can select American, things like that, but then you've got to pay for postage, which usually wipes it out. So then you select that, and then there's an option there to like auto select where the sellers to buy it from. And what it does is it looks at all the different pieces that you want and then tries in a clunky way to optimize. Okay, well, here are the smallest number of sellers at a reasonable price. That's kind of the idea, but I find you then do have to play around with it a bit, because it comes down to are there a couple of really rare pieces in that you're trying to get, or things that aren't widely spread. So then it will come up and it will list, if you want 100 pieces, where the best couple of retailers or online stores are to get it. Brickweeks had no idea the Justice Society was, and it sounded like a rip-off of the Justice League. When they actually came first, I heard Shazam and thought, the Justice Society was first. But that's the thing. It comes down to how you get introduced to it. Like, used to read comics quite heavily, and so kind of aware of the history and lore, but most people won't. The first time they come across them is the film. So, yeah. First time you see it. Just trying to see where this... I hate these sorts of things. It's like, here, put this small little piece awkwardly in here, and if you drop it or bump it, it's going to go disappearing off into the never. These sort of brick pieces. Pabworth first and foremost, Trevor. Then there's direct from Lego on bricks and pieces, but that takes a while. Then Bricklink or Brickout. Yeah, if you can go into a Lego store and get something there, that can be the fastest way to do it. It's not necessarily the most economical. So if you want, 100 of something or whatever, you can do it off bricks and pieces, but it may cost you twice as much as doing it off Bricklink. Yeah, and then as I sort of said, bricks and pieces is kind of like the Lego website itself. You can go on there. And generally, trying to find pieces on there can be a little bit challenging. So sometimes what it's best to do is, like, when you get your instruction books for a set, in the back, it obviously has a list of all the pieces in there, and it's got weird numbers in it. Those weird numbers you can put into the Lego website, and they'll help you find the pieces that you're after to buy. But as already commented, they can take 6 to 8 weeks to come. If it's an item which they sell frequently, it might be slightly faster. But just if you need something in a hurry, that's not going to be the way to do it. Where are these two going? Here. This is feeling a lot more like building Darth Maul. Thank you both, very informative. Do really appreciate help and advice. It's invaluable. That's cool. I think everyone sort of starts out as like, how do I get Lego pieces without costing a fortune? I mean, as if you going into Bricklink, it can be clunky. The obvious thing, just go to YouTube, watch a couple of, do a search for how to buy pieces from Bricklink or something like that, and that will walk you through it. So then you have, like, on Bricklink, usually it's just individual It's kind of, I always kind of just describe it as a little bit like the eBay for Lego pieces. So then you just have like it in, yes, either individuals who've just got a handful of pieces, or you can have, people who've set up and do it as a full-time sort of thing. So I have little kids and they sell some stuff on Bricklink, because it's kind of just teaching them, all sorts of things like sourcing stuff and dealing with orders, and they say, oh, we just sold 10 pounds worth of stuff, we get £10, yay, we just made £10. It's like, well, the site takes their commission, and then PayPal take their commission, and then you had to buy the stock originally, and then you need some more stock in the future. So actually, you end up with a very small percentage of that. So at first, I don't think they were too thrilled with that idea. So like, well, this is the reality of this situation. You're frozen, can't hear you now. Oh, shit, sorry. And we come back. We're still... Jumping over to the other one, just sort of saying... I think jumping over to the other one, just sort of saying... Okay, well, it sounds like it's back at least. Goodness knows where I got lost then. Hey, Brett's Builds, welcome along. Hope that you're going well. That your castle renovations are happening, the trains are happening. It's all good. I suppose it's this hour late. Kids are hopefully in bed, and you're just gearing up for a night of streaming and some Americans and things. Trevor's, I'll look on your channel for that video Bricker Picks. Hi Brett, hope you're going well. Bricker Picks, sorting Lego Castle as always. Hope you had a good day. That sounds really unlike you, Brett. Dealing with some castle sorting. Hey Trevor's video is good. Yourself? It was me, sorry, Bricker Picks. I refreshed and it's fine. I'm good, and thank you. Okay then. Is that about nothing freezing? That's the only thing about when you stream by yourself. If something goes askew like that, you'll just be talking to yourself, having no idea. It's not until the chat starts doing random stuff. You're like, is there a problem? So Brett, I would imagine you possibly enjoyed this week a lot more than last week. Kids back at school. Or was it you who was saying actually no, they're off this week? I can't remember. So Brett's just castle at the moment. I did a YouTube short if you get time. Yeah, no, I'll definitely give that a watch. You ventured into shorts. Is that your first one? Ooh. Maybe adding subscribers left, right, and center in a minute. It's got me curious now. What has he done as a short? Let's see now. I would say it's castle related if he's been doing castle. Probably a higher chance of that. I got, yeah, that one's there, that one's there. It'll be castle-y with a chance of meatballs. Brickbits, what's the model to the right, Brett, is the tall neck? Did I miss over something? Yeah, no, that's the tall neck one. That was I think that was the second stream we did. Second and third stream maybe? And it's literally the only time I usually get the chance to build Lego is on these live streams now. So it's sort of like build it and then go off and do other things, and don't get a chance to like put stuff away or sort stuff. I really need to do that. Still even got all the extra little pieces which I've never sorted back into the collection, so it's like, yeah, need to do that as well. And then with that small little gig which I did for Lego, what's that meant to be blue? Yeah, they did the models, smashed them up, they sent them all back to me smashed up, and they're in a box downstairs. And it's like, I just can't bring myself to either rebuild these or sort them out yet. It's like, because that's going to be a bit of a project to do that. Maybe I could get the kids to do that. Yes. Brickbits, yeah, that happened to me on Tuesday. I dropped out a lot. Turns out the hubby was utilizing the Wi-Fi downstairs. Brickbits, yes, one I need to get still. Meant to type map. Thanks, Brett. Okay, cool. I'm playing Horizon at the moment. Cool. Yeah, no, I looked at that too, Brett, and because I mean, I got the set because everybody raved about it in terms of being a good build and everything, and it was, and it's not ridiculously expensive. So particularly there's a lot of in the base snot techniques and things like that. So I'm doing some mocks. So I looked at how they did it, and I've incorporated a lot of the techniques and things into mocks which I'm working on at the moment. So yeah, as for Horizon, I looked at that, and I just know I can be a little bit compulsive, and it's like, if I start playing that, I'm never going to stop. I need to protect myself from myself. It does look cool. Trevor, can you keep them at? Yeah, no, they I built them. I took those things back into Lego. They did filming with it, which they said, they were drop testing it or something like that. So they all got smashed up, and they're like, as part of the arrangement, when they were finished with them, they sent them back to us. So literally, and sorry, just let me see what piece that is there for me. What? That is weird. It's not one of those, is it? Maybe it is. Yeah, no, it might be. Trying to see how that goes. That must go like that. So yeah, two of the ones which are built with the grand pianos, and certainly the whole thing when building it was doing it at speed. And man, they're actually almost 4,000 piece sets. That. So you go through and you just build it, and then I think so they took about 10 hours each. So you build one, and then you literally turn around and build the next one. And then a week later, it comes back to you all smashed up, and it's like, I can't handle the thought of having to build them both again. It's like, no, I'll just leave them in a box in the corner for a little bit. Brick Peaks, yes, it's castles, just subreddit. You watch Mikey J Productions, he's got an amazing castle set up. But the game is bloody hard, or I'm just getting old. I think it can be a combination of both. The kids the other day playing a game, and I started to play it, and they just kept on killing me like I was nothing. I was like, right, yep, no, I'm in the old man category now. Breakbeat's the only game I want to play is Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah, I've heard some really good things about that Hogwarts Legacy. However, I don't have anything to play it on. My brother's going to let me his PS4, but it's not out here till April. Brigabix, I do know Mikey J, just don't do vids enough or post to Insta. I'm building a castle ladder at the moment, but as Matt said, I do other Lego. Yeah, it's castles. I wouldn't say old school castles, but it's more in a vintage vein. And Brett's train setup, I don't know whether you can get vertigo from trains, but he likes to have. It's a brilliant idea because obviously trains the layouts take up an incredible amount of space. So what he's got is he'll do a train layout on like one level, and then he'll put another train like a level above it, and then another train a level above it. So you can imagine if you got a train and if it derails and falls, you can fill in the gaps. It'll be music to your ears once you've rebuilt them. I see what you've done there. Brett's builds, and I guessed on a lot of streams, even did airport monorail stream with Family Works. Yeah, no, that was a couple of years ago. That was awesome, that, because I did manage to hunt down a monorail, so I built that. And yeah, it was weird because it was like in a week I built it, and then a couple of days later Brick in it built it, and then a couple of days later Jang built it. And since then I don't think I've seen anyone build it, and that was a couple of years ago now. And this is not going on the front here somehow. And it's all disintegrating. So you think of these naughty things. I must admit, this part of the build is not as interesting as what the first part was. Maybe it's a lot more. The first part was just more structure and a bit more interesting. Or what's that? That seems weird. That. Oh, okay, yeah, that's my. So is that meant to go on that? I copy that. It is. Let's find out. Go on there. Still sticking out the front. Yeah. Okay. Brigabits. I do get brave with the trains. LOL. My wee lad loves them. Yeah. I mean that's brilliant. They all grow up. I mean, you probably know. It happens so fast. Must be that one there. The 3 turned over, upside down. That way. It's a clickety thing. And how is that? That faces down, apparently. No, I hate these sorts of things. So, okay. It just always feels fragile, like you have to push down if you don't quite get it right. It's going to all flip apart. Because I have just two trains. I do love them: the Hogwarts Express and the Christmas train. Christmas train, which is that the one, or is that the is that the tram one from last year or a different one? And Hogwarts, I take it you mean the not the big weird scale, crazy expensive one, but the other normal play scale one. Well, three, but I have one that doesn't fit on the tracks. That's not the Hogwarts. Brick Pits. I do have Emerald Knight, but sold it. Oh, kind of regret that, but couldn't display it in the magnificence it needs to be displayed. Yeah. I mean, was it the Lego Ideas one I got through recently? What one is that? Is it the red one? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure somebody's Brett's probably typing free regime. How do you not know that it's the blah blah? You call yourself a Lego streamer? Unsubscribe. Winter Village train from 2018, I think. Oh, okay, then yeah, that's probably when I was still kind of in a bit of a dark age. So, I mean, the Winter Village sets for me kind of start, I guess, more with what's brilliant to blank? Gingerbread House. Even though I didn't get it. Goes there. Take a light base here. Silver one there. The Orange Express. Or was it the Polar Express? No, I think it's the Orange Express. Yeah, that sounds a lot more familiar. I think that one is submission. Was it a dark red or deep? I don't know. Not that much of a train aficionado. Please forgive me. It's almost like just lots of little steps in this build at the moment. Probably can't really see. It is getting built. Stuff is happening. Oh, this looks interesting. Okay, now I can see. Oh, there we go. I'm not going to enjoy this, I know that. Okay, so what I'm looking at is so you got this plate here, and this here is going to slide all the way back into a little tiny clip in there, and somehow it's all going to stay together. Yeah, I'm not completely buying that idea. Before I do that, let's just double check this. Yeah, no, that's right. Okay. I thought it was green, or is that the carriages? I thought that was the Emerald Knight was green. Or maybe they're both green. I don't know. Brett. Come save us from train stupidity land. We are not worthy. And this. Oh, I don't like this at all. Okay. Yeah, that's wonky. Probably can't see it, but there's big gaps in there. Yeah, not a fan. The eyes. I guess we have to do the other side now. Yep, that's how it goes. Like that there. Yep, the emerald night is definitely green, but I think the orange is also green. Okay then. I'm just trying to think. I mean, obviously the emerald one, I believe, is rather expensive, and a lot of that green, I think, was largely only available in that set. So if they were to do another one, at least if it's similar types of greens, we might get similar types of parts. I'm looking at dink dink dink. One in the corner there. And there. It goes like that. I need to get that pin in first. Yep, it's printed green as well. Green with printed gold. Okay, that might be why some of the pieces are expensive. I suppose they're probably too. Think about kids Brinkley store a little bit too much, so you're always just looking at parts and what's relatively available, what's not. I don't know why. It's such a crazy thing. Now I'm guessing this has got to go on the other side. Yep. Okay, let's see. It's hard. I got like the light in the way, and then this. I really don't like these types of connections. This feels wrong in so many ways. Probably didn't get that. Is that going to fit in there? Probably not. It needs to come around a little bit. It's so tight. It's got a little clip in there which needs to move just marginally to get the angle right. Trying to. Pliers from tweezers from another white kit. Hopefully got it. Let's try this again. That turns the wrong way. Oh. That's in there. That's in there. I think. What can I do with the camera angle? Not much. Big rigs. I found it in a bulk buy. I wasn't even looking at it when I bought it. I was looking at a motorized crawler and thinking the price of the bill just in the motorized bits. Bought it and yep, wow, yeah, no, that would be a nice score with something like that. So yeah, it's always nice when you can do that. So like, you know, I bought it for something else, and then I realized there's a whole bunch of these other pieces. And then when I looked at it, I was like, oh, actually, no, that's really good. So let's just put that there. Watch this fall over and everyone laugh. Okay, so this is kind of where I've gotten to. So still got, I think I'm up to bag 12, and there's another, does it go to 17 or 18 bags? So it feels like the main thing left to do is all in the head here. Just more just the top of the head. So done a lot of the side, the back, obviously the bust and the base. So it's kind of, yeah, it's, what do I think so far? I don't like how fragile a lot of these plates feel. Like you can just sort of, you know, that's kind of loose. Okay, yeah, it's got a bit of movement, but you know, that's only got a single connection point. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got to do. Forgot the rest of the head, and then he's got two hands. Every single piece and the two manuals were there. Wow. Okay. Yeah. No, that's a nice find. I bet you when somebody figured out that had gone, it's like, ooh, why did you sell that, Mum? Do you know who you sold it to? Can I go visit them? The eyes look kind of small. Is it just me? It's probably more so the angle, I think. Go and lean it back. Knowing my luck, half the back of the head before. So I think, yeah, no, they seem okay. I think it's more just because the jaw is so square and boxy. That hasn't, yeah. I'm glad I bought it for the pieces, put it that way. So, definitely a display piece, not a play piece. Yeah, yeah, definitely the angle. So I think I've been going for a bit over 3 hours. Very Panther looking. What's it now? It's about 1:45. So I think with that, I'll wind this up. Thanks very much for everyone who's been here, being in the chat, chatting along, even with some of the bad dad jokes and everything like that. Again, we'll do this again same time next week. Hopefully, is the music still on? Because I can't hear anything. Yeah, it's not too bad. So, well, I haven't been listening, so who knows? So a big shout out to Brickabix, Trevor's videos. Been really active in the chat. Always really appreciate that. Brett's builds, good to see you around, enlightening us with train bits as always. And who else did we have in a bit earlier? I know there was a solo brick builder in there because we had some really bad dad jokes. I'm not sure. I'm sure that will continue as a tradition, for better or for worse. I believe there was also a cabbage in there at some stage, which is always good to see cabbage popping up. And yeah, I think that's the main thing. So as always, hit the like button, subscribe, all that good sort of stuff. I think that's the first time I've said that all night, to be honest. Saying good night, Trevor. Good luck with your weekend. Hope that you guys are able to meet up and have some great fun and everything like that. And thanks very much, Trevor. I hope that you all have a good evening. Send you some pics. Okay, yep, definitely. I'll check Instagram and have a look at all that sort of stuff. I think, Trevor, you may have also been sending some stuff. I don't know. It's late. I'm rambling. Thanks very much. See you all again next week and have a good one until then. Take it easy.